Carlos Nelson with Cascade Media Group, and we're on our arts and entertainment channel tonight. And we got some special artists coming up out of the Texas area, and they up there in Wichita at a show, Art That Touches Your Heart. And we've got a whirlwind. We got a world traveler here now. This young lady's been around the globe practicing her trade. Who do we have here?
My name is Rhea Rose, and I am a portrait artist and muralist.
Tell our audience a little bit about yourself. Run it down from kindergarten. You already know what the drill is.
Okay. So I was born in LA. I was adopted. I'm also multiracial. So it does affect my art. My parents said I wrote and illustrated my first book when I was 3. And I just kept going from there. I loved art, but I was super focused on going to medical school. In high school, I did get an opportunity to go to a visual art school for a couple of years. But like I said, traveled around the world. My father was in the military, didn't get to stay there very long, but that's where I learned most of what I do now. And then by the time I graduated, I was ready to go to medical school on a full scholarship to Tuskegee University. And I found out I was going to have my daughter and I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So I decided to do that. And then I started drawing and creating. And I realized that was something that I could do from home. I could be a mom and an artist at the same time. And it just snowballed from there. And like I said, I was a portrait artist. I started painting murals. I did face painting. I've done graphic design.
Talk about the murals. I'm the cutoff king. What type of murals had you participated in? Because I've had a couple of mural artists on, and they were explaining to my public and to me the complexities in doing mural, the scale and all of that is different. Talk a little bit about that if you can.
Yes, it is very different. However, I don't do the huge murals. I prefer the residential murals, like, children's rooms or faux finishing. I've done some businesses, but like I said, nothing like huge outdoor. So I am able to not go through such a complex process, but it is definitely different than paper and pencil.
What do you prefer, sketching or painting? Or what do you feel is your best attribute? And do you have any other skill set? Because a lot of times with artists, my stepfather was one of the original creators of Sesame Street, Janice knows him, and he was a great sculptor, but when you're an animator or a painter, they try to pigeonhole you and say, like, this is what you do, when a lot of artists are multi-talented and can do more than one thing.
I can do more than one thing. I've been trying to narrow it down and focus. I think I'm most known for acrylic portraits that are kind of a mix between abstract and realism. And portraits are my heart, and I think they've been compared to like Greek sculpture, but the people look like me. So that's my heart. But I sketch very well. I'm in love with sketching as well, and sometimes I incorporate that into my canvas work as well.
Who are some of your favorite?
I like to build. I build things, sometimes make artwork, building with wood. And like I said, face painting, graphic design.
Who are some of your famous artists that you admire? We already know Mr. Frazier is number uno.
Yes. I mean, I've studied lots of artists, but I can't honestly say that I have admired or looked up to or copied after any particular person. I kind of just trying to figure stuff out on my own. But since I've been asked that question so much, I would say the artist that I think I'm most similar to is Jarrett Kubicki. And he does portraiture, but they're photographs and they're digitally altered. And so they resemble my artwork the most. But I can't honestly say that there's someone who I've tried to copy after.
I like that. I never used the word copy because I said who might you admire, because that's one thing that I'm up on. There's so many copycats, and I'm not just talking about art. I'm talking about life. From rap to and it's very seldom that I really see people that think for themselves, speak for themselves, and feel comfortable and say, I'm not trying to be like nobody. If anything, somebody's trying to be like me. We consider Cascade Media Group the wave of the future. And the wave of the future does not look like the past.
Yes.
So, with that being said,
I can say that when I started out thinking that photorealism was like, that is the pinnacle of art, and that's what I was trying to do, but I couldn't quite get what I wanted to do. So that's when the abstract part started coming in, and I just started splattering and dripping and just letting it be whatever I create. So it was out of frustration, but it became my own style.
And that's excellent. So let's talk about what are some of your favorite pieces? Because we're going to take a look at some of your pieces. Talk about some of your pieces.
I think my favorite piece is always the next one that I'm going to create. But I am working on a series. Well, I actually just finished like 4 pieces before I came to this show. And I'm sure we'll have those for you. It is called Metamorphosis, and it is based on, number one, the idea of changing yourself, which I've been doing that for the last few months. Just deciding to do the things that I have goals to do. We have a lot of goals, but we don't actually sit down and try to accomplish them. And I have, through finances, health, working out, eating right. I've just been kind of diving in. Why not? Life is short. Why not just do everything that I've been imagining to do? So it plays with that idea of changing yourself, but then also I read a book that inspired me as well. It's about the whole history of Africa, and then in the end the author is explaining how Black people could rise up from the situation that was caused by slavery and racism, and he has a whole step-by-step process. And I just started to imagine, okay, what would that look like? A metamorphosis of an entire race. And so I have been making pieces about personal metamorphosis as well as group metamorphosis.
All right. They look beautiful. So now let's tell our audience how they can acquire some of your work.
Okay, well, super easy. You can go to my website. It is phoenixartstudio.net. That's PHOENIX, commonly misspelled, but phoenixartstudio.net. And there's my phone number. There's every social media that I have on there. So super easy.
All right. I'm gonna steal my partner's closing. He usually close with, "It was a plum pleasing pleasure having you on the show." I make him mad when I steal his closing. But we're gonna do our closing. When you invest in your community, you're really just investing in yourself. Good night.